Good morning. As part of our digital forensics and incident response assessment, our group investigated a simulated cyber incident involving a fictional company, Driving Solutions, supported by our team at IR4U. Driving Solutions, which is a major pre-booked taxi service, noticed over 200 GB of unexpected outbound network traffic, suggesting a possible data breach involving customer information. Our investigation began with a suspicious Word document found on a Windows 7 machine, which led us to uncover multiple malware samples, analyze threat actor behavior, and align our findings with industry standard frameworks. This presentation covers our analysis across five key tasks, including malware analysis, attacker attribution, incident response planning using the NIST framework, and mapping the attack using the cyber kill chain model. Our aim is to demonstrate a complete forensic response using real world tools and best practices. Let's begin with task one.
Hi, my name is Sabiha Khalid. I am presenting the task one. Okay, the task one is about the malicious document analysis assignment, which focused on investigating a suspicious macro-enabled Word document named Jessica Jones document, and its second stage is payload bar.jpg. Okay, the main goal of this analysis was to determine whether the file was malicious, understand how it operated, and identify any indicators of compromise. As you can see, first, during static analysis, I used tools like PestStudio and OLED to confirm that the file contains macros. Okay. Then I used Olivia to extract and analyze the macro code. The macro code used an auto open function to execute as soon as the document was opened, as I have shown in the arrows. Okay. It contained a sophisticated PowerShell command, which once decoded showed that it was downloaded a second file called bart.jpg from an external URL. Okay. The bart.jpg file appeared to be an image, but static inspection with PestStudio revealed it was actually a package executable. Okay. On the next slide, it was shows the virus total image shows malicious statistication score 36 out of 68 of the bart.jpg image. On the next one, I unpacked it using UPX and analyzed it in Ghidra. Okay. In the next, the code shows signs of malicious behavior such as registry modifications, credential access, and command executions. It indicated an attempt to maintain persistence and potentially steal the data. While on the conclusion, this is a classic two-stage malware infection initiated through phishing. The document file acts as a dropper and the disgrace.jpg file delivers the actual payload. While on the recommendations, I recommend blocking the identified IOCs, improving email filtering to scan and detonate Office attachments, and running awareness training to prevent users from enabling macros and unknown documents. That's from my side. Now Hiral will present the task 2. Thank you.
Hi, the task was to dissect four malware specimens which implement strategic anti-forensic methods to avoid detection. The analysis included hybrid analysis for behavioral studies and Ghidra for reversing engineering operations and PE Studio Virus Total for scanning functions. The investigation centers on forensic investigator evasion strategies employed by malicious samples. This was the first file. This file secures invisibility through its process of injection, which creates legitimate Windows system contact. The attack tool establishes contact with the attacker server using an unexpected port number so that the detection remains elusive. The figure shows the hybrid analysis output demonstrating the process injection behavior. Next was the lowrider.exe file. This file ranks among the most potent keyloggers since it captures every key typed input and all typed data including passwords and messages. Through registry modification, it guarantees automatic system launch upon computer boot up. And timestamping is the technique that enables to fool investigator. Here the invalid timestamp is 12th May 2025. Next file is needle3.exe. This file performs username theft purposes to select particular targets. The tool actively defends itself against analyst because attempts to debug it manage to shut down analysis instruments. The program contains random meaningless code which serves to increase analysis complexity. Figure shows the GitRust decompiled view of anti-debugging code. This was the last file. This program operates secretly to capture the desktop screenshots which monitor the entire activity. To hijacking system DLLs, the tool obtains control over operating system functions. The software uses memory alteration as a security avoidance technique to remain invisible to security tools. These are the mitigation strategies. The defense against these attacks requires observing unusual process, actions and blocking, non-malicious IP addresses and monitoring registry modifications. The most important factor for security is training users, since phishing emails typically initiate malware infections. So, as a conclusion, the malicious program operates covertly by remaining undetected while altering timestamps as well as protecting themselves when detecting investigation activities. The initial step should involve blocking identified malware files together with malicious IP addresses, and improved monitoring systems should follow blocking non-IP addresses to detect new attacks. Learning about these attacks provide essential knowledge to create improved defensive measures. So always stay vigilant. Thank you.
My name is Uma, and I worked on task 3, which focuses on attacker attribution and threat profiling based on a phishing email and its malicious attachment. My goal was to determine who the attacker might be and what kind of threat actor we are dealing with. To do this, I analyzed both the phishing email and the macro enabled Word document it contained. For this, I have used tools like MX Toolbox, VirusTotal, and WhoIsLookup, along with frameworks like Matrix Attack and the triangle model of cyber attribution. First, I analyzed the email content to identify indicators of phishing. As you can see here, this is a phishing email opened in the Microsoft Outlook. As highlighted, the email contains several phishing indicators such as unofficial salutation, poor grammar, and urgency topics. It also included a password protected file, zip file, that is jessicajones.docm, which is a known method used by attackers to bypass antivirus scanning. Here you can see a virus total scan of the image URL found in the phishing email. The check came clean. I used MX Toolbox for the header analysis. You can see that although SPF and DMARC verification passed, the TKIM check has failed here. This suggests possible spoofing. This is the continuation of the header analysis using MX Toolbox, highlighting return path and sender IP address. It is discovered that the sender used Proton Mail with IP address 185704027. An investigation using WhoIsLookup confirmed that the IP address tied to the email, which is 185704027, does belong to Proton email's infrastructure. While this adds some legitimacy, it also shows that the attacker used a privacy respecting service to hide their identity, which is common in targeted phishing campaigns. I have used VirusTotal for the malware analysis of the attached document. As you can see here, the jessicajones.docm attachment was flagged by 39 out of 68 antivirus engines on VirusTotal. It behaves like a Trojan downloader. The key behaviors include PowerShell execution, WMI calls, and the use of OLE objects, all typical signs of post exploitation activity. These align with MITRE attack techniques like T1059, T1085, and T1071. Interestingly, the document also had 19 embedded files, some of which served as decoys. This level of obfuscation suggests the attacker knew how to bypass basic security layers. I have applied triangle model of cyber attribution, considering factors like complexity, infrastructure, and motivation. The attack was moderately sophisticated, using custom scripting and anonymous infrastructure. There were no signs of ideological or state sponsored motivation, which rules out APTs. Instead, the profile fits a financially motivated organized crime group, likely similar to TA505. These groups are known for using macro documents, PowerShell payloads, and socially engineered phishing to deploy ransomware or steal credentials. Based on the evidence, I estimate a 70 to 75% probability that the attacker fits this category. In conclusion, the attacker likely belongs to a well resourced organized crime group using technical expertise to target employees via phishing. The use of evasion techniques like macro obfuscation and spoofed headers shows a deliberate attempt to bypass defenses. To prevent such attacks, I recommend implementing staff training on phishing and macros, enforcing DKIM properly, and using monitoring tools to track PowerShells or scripting activity within the network. Thank you.
Okay. On this task, I created an incident response plan for driving solution. Here, we adopted the NIST incident response flow chart, which is majorly categorized into 4 stages. We have the preparation, we have the detection analysis, we have containment, eradication, and recovery. Then we also have the post-incident response. Post-incident activities. So under preparation, we have the following tasks that need to be done under preparation. The next slide, please. Okay, so under preparation, we have one, we set up a policy for driving solution. We also set up the incident response team, which comprises of the CISO, the CEO of the company, and some other the risk assessment team, the audit, and feed operation managers. So we also conduct a security awareness training for the team. So we maintain hardware and software asset register. So we create an endpoint security. Then we enforce a network monitoring, set up and maintain backup, establish login infrastructure, then gather evidence for forensic. So the next phase is detection and analysis. Under detection analysis, here is all about focusing on identifying signs that suggest that we have a security breach. And it's also in this phase we are to confirm if the security breach actually take place or not. So the analysis phase commences when we spot the problem, then we look for the steps on how to look closely into the situation to find out what truly occurred. So these are the tasks that need to be done under the detection and analysis phase. We monitor the logs for abnormality, identify unusual outgoing traffic. We match events with threat intelligence, flag unusual device or user. So we also take down evidence, we record evidence. So the next phase, we have the containment, eradication, and recovery. So as the name implies, containment is all about isolating the threat from the system. So once the threat is being confirmed, so we look for a way we can isolate it from the system. So under eradication is actually to terminate this threat from the system to ensure that there's no residual file containing threats that remains in the system. So for the recovery phase is all about restoring a clean backup into the system, so that the driver solution can gain back their clean data. So the following tasks these are the following tasks that need to be carried out in containment phase. One, we isolate the affected system, block malicious IP or domain, disable compromised accounts, then preserve volatile data. And in the other column, you can see the tools that we also suggested for the company to use while we do this. Then the next task under eradication, we have conduct root analysis, root cause analysis, remove malware left by attacker, run vulnerability patches, so we reset compromised credentials, so we clean registries or scripts. So in the recovery phase, like I mentioned earlier, we restore the backups, a clean backup. So run system functionality and integrity, monitor for reinfection or residual malware, confirm connectivity is secure. So bit by bit, we reconnect to network. So in the other column, you can see the tools that we also suggested that we might use in executing this task. So the last phase, where we have the post-incident response, incident activities. So in this phase, all we need to do is to review what we have identified so far, the actions we have taken, and the areas we need to improve in case of a subsequent attack in the future. So these are the tasks that need to be done in this last phase. One, we have after the one in the post-incident phase, we conduct post-incident review. So this take place, what actually happened here is just to brief the staff, especially the team, what have happened. So we document timeline of incident. So identify gap in response, update the incident response plan and policies that we have laid down now. So we share lessons learned with staff. So we also recommend system upgrade. So I call on my colleague, Sama, to take up task 5.
So my task was about the cyber kill chain framework report. So in this presentation, we will analyze the steps involved in a phishing attack using the cyber kill chain methodology, which helps organization understand the stages of a cyber attack and how to prevent them. So yeah, in this slide, we introduced the cyber kill chain methodology developed by Lockheed Martin. So this model outlines 7 stages that attackers typically follow during a cyber attack. It helps organization understand the attacker's techniques and procedures. So, and also it enables the development of strategies to prevent future attacks. This report applies the kill chain model to the Word document phishing attack case and task 1. So the first stage is reconnaissance. The first stage in the cyber kill chain is reconnaissance, where attackers collect target information to identify vulnerabilities and access points. During this stage, attackers use social media, public records, and company websites to gather details about employees and the technologies used by the organization. This information is critical for planning the attack. Example techniques include monitoring social media and searching public databases for employee contact details. The second stage is weaponization. So in the weaponization phase, the attacker creates a malicious payload to use as the attack's weapon. In our case, the weapon was the malicious Word document that contained VBA macros. So these macros were programmed to perform harmful operations such as installing additional malware and stealing sensitive data. So attackers weaponize files like Word documents by embedding malicious code in them, which is activated when the document is opened. The other stage is delivery. So the delivery stage refers to how the attacker actually delivers the weapon to the target. In this case, the attacker sent a phishing email containing the harmful Word document as an attachment. The attacker used social engineering techniques to persuade the victim to open the attachment, making the email appear legitimate. Phishing emails are often designed to look credible, thus increasing the likelihood that the victim will interact with the malicious file. Exploitation stage. So once the Word document is opened, the exploitation phase begins. In this case, the exploitation occurred through the execution of VBA macros embedded in the document. When the victim opened the document and enabled macros, the malware was triggered. The exploit took advantage of system vulnerabilities, such as enabling macros by default in Microsoft after Office applications. So after execution, the malware attempts to download additional payloads and compromise the systems. Installation phase. So in the installation stage, the attacker installs secondary malware onto the compromised system. In this case, the system received additional harmful payloads after the macros executed. These payloads were used to establish persistent access to the system, allowing the attacker to maintain control over it. Attackers often disable the security software to prevent detection and ensure their malware remains active. Command and control. The command and control phase is where the attacker establishes continuous communication with the infected system. So this phase enables the attacker to manage the compromised system and issue commands remotely. Techniques such as reverse shell or encrypted communication channels are often used to maintain control. In this case, the attacker used remote access to transfer stolen data to an external server under their control. The final stage in the cyber kill chain is actions on objectives, where the attacker achieves their intended goals. So in this case, the of the malicious Word document, the objective was to extract sensitive organizational data, such as customer databases and financial records. The attacker often uses encryption to conceal exfiltrated data, preventing it from being detected by security systems during the transfer. So in the conclusion, the Word document is a phishing attack followed the typical sequence outlined in the cyber kill chain framework. The attacker carried out each of the 7 stages: reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, and actions on objectives. So understanding the cyber kill chain help organization identify vulnerabilities and implement strategies to minimize the risks of such attacks. This framework can be applied to prevent future incidents and improve overall cybersecurity posture. Thank you.
To conclude our presentation, we would like to highlight a few key points. Through our analysis, we identified and documented multiple stages of the attack, from initial phishing email and macro-laced Word document to persistent malware across the network. We linked the attack to a likely organized cybercrime group based on behavioral patterns and infrastructure used. We also proposed practical remediation and prevention strategies using industry frameworks like NIST and the cyber kill chain to guide driving solutions towards better resilience. This case highlights the importance of not just reacting to breaches, but preparing for them. Thank you.